How's it going, everybody? Rye right here today, and we are back with your Stanley Cup champions, the Columbus Blue Jackets. If you guys somehow missed episode number 15, make sure to go give that one a watch, because I just kind of spoiled the ending for you. And if you're here already, well, you might as well stay along. Leave a like for your Columbus Blue Jackets after we've lifted the cup, and now begins our title defense. But at the end of the last one, I didn't want to spoil any moods, so I didn't spin the wheel. Just kind of let us ride off into the sunset, enjoy it. Now we're back, and now we have to spin this wheel. And, I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel, see what kind of challenge the Stanley Cup champion Columbus Blue Jackets are going to face. And I guess in the next one, we're going to start our backup goaltender for the next 5 games. So the first 5 games of the NHL season next year, we're going to go in with our backup. And I believe that's still going to be Daniil Tarasov. So let's jump back over to EA NHL 24. Why did I say it like that? Let's jump back over to the game. So now we're back at the game after EA Sports NHL 24. And really, we are looking really good. Our team, our core is still there. I mean, the 3 guys we have on the most ridiculous deals are Johnson, Jirasek, and Boakfist. Signing these 3 guys to 5.5, 4.5, 4.5. I mean, that's what? That's 14.5 million for these 3 guys. And Pettersson's making 12 by himself. So that's just a crazy amount of cap for us. And in goal, Askarov is going to start with his $7 million a season contract. And we do have only one more season of Tarasov. So I guess the first 5 games will be a good tell to see if Tarasov will deserve an extension or not. So I won't really go and try to extend him this offseason. He really hasn't been too impressive. Neither really has Askarov, let's be honest. Actually, he's been getting better every year he's been here. Nashville, he was okay in the limited role. We traded for him, gave him the starting job right away, and he's kind of improved both years, and hopefully going to see him continue to improve. But really the plan for the offseason is to get some young talent and get it quickly, right? We don't have any guys that are expiring this year, but I'm starting to worry about, with all the big contracts we have out there, that some of these guys that, are crucial for us moving forward, like a Beauvillier, right? I need to find ourselves a Beauvillier replacement. Werenski expires after next season. It's the season after next, which is the one I'm worried about. Chinikov, right? We need a replacement for him after next year. Sutter's gone this year, right? I mean, I could bring him back. We'll see. Rensfeldt's going to need a big extension. Tessier's gone after this year. Blankenberg, Matachuk, thankfully has, a few more years left. We've got Sillinger, who's going to need a contract at needs a contract now. Danforth, okay, and then it starts to bottom out, but it's those guys, those Beauvilliers, the Rensfeldt's going to need a contract, Chinikov, and Werenski, right? So all of a sudden, I may need to start thinking about where is the future of this roster coming. Akil Thomas is an 80. He's signed through next year. I think I would love to bring him up and have him replace a guy like Pius Suter. He had 70 points, a plus 27, 70 games played, 23 goals. It's honestly a great asset to have this guy coming up in the system where he won a lot of faceoffs. Man, how did he develop? Because he looks like a really, really well-rounded player. He's got the skills. The defensive category isn't too bad. His senses and his defense actually are rough, right? His shot is okay. His skating is great. It's just, are we going to want to use Akil Thomas in the NHL next year? Johannesson could be a guy that comes up. I doubt it. We've got Markku Lidman, and I think he'll probably be ready for the NHL. The takeaway to giveaway ratio was great. He put up 67 points in 72 games with 32 goals, plus 25. This is a guy that absolutely is ready to make the jump, and I'm hoping that he gets a lot of growth. The defense category already looks a little bit better than Akil Thomas's. The senses are already a bit better than Akil Thomas. Same thing with the puck skills aren't quite as good. He's not quite as good a skater, but he's definitely more well-rounded. As a playmaker here, he's balanced, cycle, energy balanced. We'll find a way to fit that in on the bottom 6. I'm not too worried about it. Let's see here. Lieutenant as well. So 76 at 20. Only 57 points, a plus 9. Maybe not a guy that's ready right now, but in a year, maybe 2, he'll be ready to come up. Now, we got to see how he jumps, how he grows, how he develops. Lidman, we already knew he had the advantage because he was NHL ready, right? Lieutenant took a couple years, but here he is. He's close. And then you guys can see there's not much in the way of, first of all, defenders coming up, and there's not much in the way of other players besides those two. So really what we need to start thinking about is the future of this franchise and potential development prospects, which is why the draft is going to be big this year. So I do want to take a look at what draft prospects are there, but also potentially trading a guy like Severson, who's making 6.2. We played him on the third pairing, and he was great. He was great on the third pairing, but it's one of those at 32, we won the cup. He's got another 4 years at 6.25. I'd love to see if I can trade him maybe to a contender for a mid-round pick and a medium prospect, like a B-level prospect. I feel like I could definitely get that trade to go through. I definitely think it would be useful for the future of our franchise, right? We've got Matichuk, who is, I guess, our best prospect-type player, but he already played a full season in the NHL, and he did quite well. So 14 points, 82 games, plus 16. He definitely made the jump just fine. Blankenberg doesn't want an extension. Now, we'll talk to him. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, we can make the trade of Severson at the draft or July 1st if we really wanted to, but the extension, we can work around it there. The Werenski thing is really scary to me. If Rensfeld's got to jump. Rensfeld has to grow for us at an 81 this year. He put up 27 points, was a plus 12. This is his second full season in the league. I'd like to see him get up into that 84 to replace Severson. Matichuk can hopefully grow by a point to replace Rensfeldt. And if we do get rid of Severson, then we can end up, finding somebody to replace him as the sixth defenseman. But as a third pairing defenseman making 6.25, I think that's just too much. Like I said, we do not have to worry as much about forward core. I think the Beauvillier replacement in a year might be Lidman, and then Luutinen could probably be the Chinikov replacement, something like that. We'll probably have one of those guys, hopefully two, playing in the NHL this season, but maybe Sutter or Tessier. Probably Tessier needs to come back on a 1-year deal. Pius Sutter actually was really good in the playoffs. Hold on, take a look at the playoffs. +5, 9 points. That's really nice to see. Tessier, did he play in the playoffs this year? Yes, he did. He was a -6 with 4 goals. -6 isn't good. And I like guys that show up when it matters most. He was 24 points and a +7. Sutter in the regular season was 34 points and a +23. I know he shot 17%, so I'm not going to expect that again, 20 goals from him. But if he does want to come back and it's reasonable over what Tessier wants. Sillinger, another guy too that, played 82 games, was decent, right? He wasn't anything spectacular, a -4, but did have 7 points, so wasn't just a goal guy, was an assist guy as well. Well-rounded two-way forward, a guy that I think, draft a former first-round pick for us 6 years ago now. It's not really my tenure. A guy that I think we could potentially look to extend for cheap, right? $6.3 million in cap space, not a ton, so we really have to start being selective. Now, if we do get rid of Severson, we could probably start working around it there, but let's take a look at the draft class. Something I want to take a look at was the draft class. And did we find any potential gems, any, young guys here? There's Vince Wingles, 3 years away, but he's 3-bar medium elite. Don't love the chem style. There's this defenseman, Dante Jovanovski. You can see Stefan Gagnon is the one scouting. We potentially year away for Dante Jovanovski. That could be one that we maybe trade down. Elite speed, mobility for a 6'1" defenseman. Plays like Pietrangelo. Cycle pinch is beautiful. Most likely somebody that we're going to be talking to come draft time. I'm taking a look here. 57, this has got to be your second round pick. 3 years away there. So some of these guys are 3 years away. Corey Vozener is potentially 1 year away. He is 1 year away. That would be phenomenal to get a two-way forward, maybe a sniper with that shooting category. That's pick 9. For some reason, I thought I was in the lower area here, but we got Jalen Waters, who's 3 years away. I'll take a look through, see if there's anybody near our pick. We're going to be picking at 32 here, so Olli Pipsinen, wow, low elite, but 1 year away from the NHL. It's potentially low elite. Elite speed, creativity, playmaking ability, balance, block, overload. That's easy to slot in anywhere. I'm just really trying to find guys that can make an impact sooner rather than later, because we don't need the high-end talent. You guys know that. We don't need the high elite, the franchise type player, because the team is good enough as is. Another guy that we do have to think about, speaking of high-end talent, is Johnny Gaudreau. How many more years are we going to use him? How many more years is he going to be viable? He's 33. He currently has 2 more years after this one on this 9.75 deal. So next year and the following year, and then he's UFA. So I probably won't be getting rid of him or trading him anytime soon. He'll probably retire with us. I'm just hoping he doesn't drop off too much because I believe he dropped off just a bit. As far as guys that grew in the offseason too, or not in the offseason, but just during the season progress reports, we'll take a quick look. Johnny Gaudreau, I see that big negative modifier. Beauvillier is seeing a lot of statistical growth. Hopefully that continues for us. Marchenko, Tessier, Johnny Gaudreau, it's red. Natural growth is starting to show up. So he is starting to drop off, but his strength and aggressiveness is never something he's been known for. So Kent Johnson is seeing statistical growth as well as a little bit of natural growth there in the faceoff. So you love to see that. A guy getting 84 faceoffs now. Rensfeld did grow naturally during the season. It's not statistical growth. So shot blocking, stick checking, plus due to endurance. His physical category grew a bit. At 6'4", 207, I'm pretty happy about that. And his hands got a lot better too. So really interesting to see that. Damon Severson, another guy that's starting to drop off via natural growth and statistical growth. So hopefully we can move on from him. As far as players in the system, we've got Damian Taylor. We've got goalies for days. Rob Kilger. Really not concerned about goaltending. Maybe they could be used as part of a piece to sweeten the deal for Severson, to maybe get a better player or an impact, a youngster, something like that. Flipping some of these guys that aren't going to make the NHL for us, right? These 3 goalies, Kirsch, Kilger, and Taylor. Some of them have to, maybe Kilger is the guy and I get rid of Kirsch because, they're both 20. I don't know. We'll see. It'll just be whoever wants who more. They'll probably like them all the same. But let's get to the simulation. Let's get to those draft interviews, see the retirements, and officially crown ourselves Stanley Cup champions. So here we go. The draft lottery, not something we've been overly involved in this save. Nashville does jump from 4 to 1, so Nashville continues to stockpile the elite talent at the top of the draft. Detroit slides from 1 to 2, Vancouver from 2 to 3, and Pittsburgh from 3 to 4. Other than that, it's as simple as you like for the draft lottery. So we've got our final draft rankings, view retired players, who is officially going to call it quits. Patrick Kane is going to call it quits as a Vancouver Canuck. That's so weird. Corey Perry retires, Backstrom, Giordano, Bailey, Stahl, Tays retires. So Tays and Kane go out at the same time. In this universe, John Carlson retires, Eric Johnson retires. All right. Nobody really looks like from us. Do we have any Columbus Blue Jackets going out on a high? Anybody in the goal? No, I didn't think so. We're not quite there yet with retired players, but Jonathan Quick, Yaroslav Halak, Antti Ranta, and Keith Kincaid, Casey DeSmith, Calvin Pickard, and some others have retired. So a pretty significant changing the guard coming our way. And Jonathan Tays is now a coach, formerly of the Boston Bruins. Coach retirements. Cleveland, we do have 2 coaches retired. Veronica Hudler and Wojtek Jager. Okay, but no Columbus Blue Jackets coaches, which is good because our coach, that was a big, finding our coach was big. Let's take a look here, though. Some of those guys that they said were going to be there towards the end of the first round that could potentially be really, really elite players. There's Oli Pipsinen, who is not going to be there when we pick. So I got to get that out of my mind. We're picking 32 here. So it's anybody after. There's Rene Duchesne. Rene Duchesne is a great name. Evan Party. Holden Clymer. No, not really those guys. Who else are we looking at here? We're looking at Dante Jovanovski, who's, okay, potentially 1 year away. This is a big one, because if I can interview this guy, and he's extremely nervous about the next few days. As Dante Jovanovski, I'd assume you'd be nervous about potentially getting picked to the NHL. Potentially 2 years away. Okay, so that's important to know. 2 years away rather than 1 year away. He's a two-way defender. We don't really have a ton of those. We've drafted some offensive defensemen recently, so let's talk about skills. Let's just talk about strengths. As a two-way defender, you think you're skating. Okay. I always like to draft skaters, right? It's always more fun to play with guys that are fast. I can make up for guys that can't hit because I feel like hitting doesn't matter when you play the game. I don't know about the sim, but it shouldn't really matter too much. But Jovanovski is 2 years away, 3-bar medium elite. Definitely somebody that I'm interested in. There's Lance Clemmy here, but he's 3 years away. We know that for a fact. There's Jalen Waters, 3 years away. We know that for a fact. Vince Wingles, we know that for a fact. We've got Javon Bartowski. Wow, okay. So not really too many crazy looking players here as far as potentially ready for the NHL right away. 2 years away here for Braylon Crooks. We'll just keep flipping through it. I doubt we're going to find anybody better to see less than 1 or 3 years. 5 years, this goalie could have an X factor, but I'm not really thinking they do just because they never do when you have one bar of accuracy. So really, I don't know. McCormick, 1 bar medium elite, but we're in the pick in the 90s now. So I've got to look at some of the players that we potentially haven't really looked at too hard just yet. 4 years, 3 years. Somebody that we haven't scouted all that well that potentially could shock me. That's probably what I want to go for here. Igor Plekhanov, probably like right at our pick here. Offensive defenseman, we'll interview them. Igor Plekhanov, just, I mean, if we could stay at our pick, that'd be nice. I wouldn't have to make any trades, but how ready do you think you are? He needs 3 years away. Still think the 2 years away is probably the move there. Offensive defenseman, so that was accurate from our scouts there. Let's talk about their personality. I don't know if it's going to really make a difference, but how would you describe your personality? Maybe this will give me more information about their wants to win at all costs. That's the best thing you could say to the defending Stanley Cup champions, because I want to win at all costs. So a left-handed defenseman here. He's 1 bar medium elite. He's potentially 3 years away with cycle pinch. I doubt he's going to be actually medium elite, but there's Rene Duchesne here that we know is, well, we don't know for a fact. There's Hansen, too, that we haven't, like, scouted at all. Kirk Hansen from Poland. We'll just give them their final interview because these guys right around this, there's always some kind of gem here. At least every season that I've really paid that much attention to. There's always somebody that's like 1 year away or NHL ready. We found it last year with Marco Lidman. 3 years away for Kirk Hansen, though. Not really that important at this point. A playmaker. Let's talk about their personality again, just because I like seeing what these guys like to say about their personality. Is because this one's pretty much a throwaway. The other two, you get like the exact answer and you're good to go. High standards, want to win at all cost. Okay. I love interviewing two guys and they say the exact same thing. Yeah. No reason to really scratch my head too hard on this one. Maybe we just go with our guy there. We trade down a bit and we go with Jovanovski. 2 years away, plays like Pietrangelo, could be medium elite. 2 years away at 18 as a two-way defender. We need defensive prospects. That's probably where I'm going to go. Dante Jovanovski is most likely where I'm going to go with our pick here. And I think we might trade down to do it. Now, word out of Carolina is that Jacob Slavin is being shopped around. Congrats to McKinnon for the Art Ross, Francisco Lowe for the Calder. We'll view the draft class and find our guy, Dante Jovanovski. Hopefully can add his name to one of those trophies someday. That'd be sick. Dante Jovanovski, where are you? How far down could I get? Dante Jovanovski here at 45. Okay, so I could drop down to pick 40, which is like right here. I'll trade for this pick with Ottawa as long as I can pick up something in the process. Taking a look at draft picks, we'll give them our first. We'll trade out of the first, and we'll hopefully pick up. I doubt we'll get a third out of the deal to move up. Who do they want to get rid of? They want to get rid of some of these players. Nobody all that impressive looking, to be honest. Goalies matching the block. They want to get rid of Eric Comrie. He's expiring anyway. Rookie skaters. Anybody here that looks particularly interesting? Trade value. Some of these guys actually do look pretty interesting. Chuck Venkateshin. Chuck Venkateshin from Bulgaria. Chuck. He's 19. Oh, man, I was going to say that's probably the guy we would want to go after then, but the name might be throwing me off here a bit. Being a medium top 4 defenseman, right? That's exciting. I doubt I'm going to get Perek here. Zane Perek. Looks actually pretty well-rounded. I like to see that. I doubt for the first round pick they'll do this. Yeah, it's probably not going to get us there. It'd probably have to be somebody much, much less valuable, like Weissblatt. I would honestly take Ozzy Weissblatt here. A decent two-way guy that could play in the minors. I don't think I'm going to get anybody like that with a pick. I mean, I could try the third-round pick. I could see if they'd give me a third-round pick this year. I doubt the third might be asking too much, but we can try it. aren't where we need to be in terms of what they offered. Okay, so can I get a fourth out of them? No, they only have fifths. I don't want to really ask for too far away from now. They don't have a next year's third either, is the crazy part. So maybe I can ask for a fifth and a sixth, and they'll move up. Wow, quite far off. Are you kidding me? You guys are moving up 7 picks, and all I asked for was a fifth and a sixth. Jesus. All right. Anyway, we'll pick up an extra fifth. Oh my God. Okay, Ottawa, I'm done talking to you because it's clearly not going to work out between us. In round 2 here, we'll talk to Detroit. I think we'll talk to Detroit. Yeah, pick 6. Talk to Detroit. See if they want our first. That would go a long way. They do want our first. See if they got any more prospects here that could potentially match the block here. Another year of Ryan Johansson. Yeah, no, sorry, I'm not taking that deal off your hands. They got a couple low elite players. A 19-year-old at 73 low elite feels pretty light. Mario Dupont, the 82 overall playmaker, looks fantastic. No X factors, only 5'9". Interesting to see that. We'll talk to Detroit, though. I was kind of liking where that was going. They had that elite youngster, low elite youngster that we could potentially root for. It's the perfect trade for me to pick up, another young dart throw. You can see there's Bentley here. There is Niskala here, who's 18, low elite, a power forward. There's Toby Bentley. Toby Bentley, the playmaker, looks really good and could have some really good seasons, right? That puck skills is great. The defense is fine. Offensive awareness could be good enough. Everything else is okay. Did you play? Did play in the AHL. How many minutes a night did you play and get 33 points? Only 904? This guy might be somebody I look to acquire. That could be... Listen, he's going to turn 20, and he's going to be in the mid-70s. There is also Niskala, who we could hope to grow a ton. Although the shooting category, the defense category, it's not great. So Bentley and a second to move up into the first. Trade rejected is too far off. Okay, but I'm now willing to throw back a pick. I am now willing to throw you guys a 5th round pick to get Bentley and move down a couple spots. Sweeten it just a touch. Okay. I will instead say, I don't really want to, let me give up. Can I give up next year's 7th? Will you guys take it next year's 7th? Is that the sweetening? There we go. So Bentley, there we go. Toby Bentley. I think a really good, I think a good acquisition there. Not skaters matching the block. Rookie skaters. So Toby Bentley here becomes our 3rd best rookie skater as far as value. Left wing, right wing, 6'1", 191, low elite playmaker. Puck skills are there. Skating is decent. The shot is fine for a playmaker, and I think the defensive category, it'll grow with time. And I think, potentially with, 2 years left, they're Norwegian. Toby Bentley's Norwegian. Played in the AHL for 2 seasons, and then I don't know how exactly they played in the AHL for 2 seasons and still have a 3 years. Maybe they signed him to a 2-year deal. I don't know. All I know is that, I'm pretty happy with this. With this acquisition, we move down. We can go get our guy too. So Dante Jovanovski, was it? Was it Jovanovski? Anyway, pick 38. Going down here. There's Clymer. There's Hansen. Not worried about them. We could have even gone down even more. He's projected at 45, but I didn't want to, miss out on him. So Dante Jovanovski, I was right. Welcome to the Columbus Blue Jackets. He is a medium top 4, 68 overall, 2-way defender who looks pretty good, honestly. 68 overall. I can't be too upset about that one, considering he is 6 overall points better than the guys around him. Duchesne, Patolny, Hansen, Clymer. These guys... 6 overall points lower, most likely the same age, 18-year-old as well. Yep, 17. That's splitting hairs here. But we get a guy here in Dante Jovanovski, a 2-way defender, fits a team need as far as a young defenseman to root for. And we saw that Matechuk, just like Matechuk, he could come up and give us solid minutes and give us really good production in just 3 years. So, 3 years, he's not an immediate upgrade. So, one thing we do want to take a look at is potentially taking a look at our goalies. We have too many, right? We have way too many. Taylor, probably want to get rid of him. Let's see. Kirsch is close. As Jet Greaves, he's a 79. Maybe a needy team wants him. But then we've also got Severson. So we've taken a look at what teams would give us Severson and Taylor, 2/3 in Ryan Johansson, or Bjorkstrand in a 1/3. I don't know if I love that deal. 1 more year of Ryan Johansson getting 2/3 out of the deal next year would be nice. Would be actually really, really nice. One thing I do want to check is if I do end up switching Taylor for Greaves, so I got to exit this trade real quick. But the Ryan Johansson, 3.3 million, that's a lot of million, but we'd still be shedding salary, and we'd be fixing a guy that could play on the fourth line or just be scratched for the entire season. Goalies, let's put Jack Greaves in there. Oops, I went to edit the trade block. Oh, all right, let's just sort by overall. He's a age. I guess he'll be right up at the top here. There he is. And then goalies. Taking a look, we will sort here. Jack Greaves is our second oldest goalie. Our oldest goalie is Tarasov? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. No trades were found if I throw in Greaves. If I throw in Kirsch over those guys, do I get anything better? I get a third one. There's Akey and a third here. Okay, Akey, another young prospect defenseman who is 75 but already 22, two-way defenseman. The third isn't enough to get it done for me. Detroit, I'd call Detroit back about their trade for, maybe, I mean, I really don't want to give up more picks, but I guess I could look to give up the second and Severson to go for a younger defenseman. I think what makes the most sense, though, is Severson and one of our young goalies who we just don't have enough room for. Kilger looks pretty good. So does Taylor, and I think they have similar trade value. I could try to give up Tarasov. He is a backup. We could try to squeeze as much value out of him as possible. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Taylor here. Bjorkstrand in 1/3. So Bjorkstrand's got to be better than Ryan Johansson, but he signed for 2 additional years at over 5.5. Not what I'm looking to do. I kind of like this deal. I feel like it makes sense. We clear up about $3 million in cap space. And we acquire 2 third-round picks that we could then use. I mean, I could immediately look to flip and make it a 3-team trade for Ryan Johansson, but let's take a look at Taylor. He's 20. Yep. Okay, I definitely think I'm on it with what guys I'm getting rid of. Ryan Johansson and 2/3. So Ryan Johansson, how bad are you looking? With 1 year left at 3.3 million, you're 34. You're not really looking too bad. Would fit the top 6. Would fit every power play line. Last season, 22 points, was a -10. Wow, they played him almost no time at all, but he's got a good giveaway to takeaway ratio as well as like a decent amount of hits. This isn't honestly too crazy of a trade for me. I mean, I'd love to not get Ryan Johansson, but you know what? They may have just tried to pawn him off on me like that. I dislike that. They want to give me these 2/3. You know what I'm going to ask for? I'm going to ask for the first for Severson and Taylor. Their first next year isn't where it needs to be at all compared to what they're being asked to give up, and I kind of figured that. But I'll see if I can squeeze a second out of them in a third now that they aren't giving me Johansson. A second and a third for Severson and Taylor. I'm fine with this deal. Trade rejected is too far off. Okay, so I guess what I'll need to be doing then is just adding the 2/3 and then maybe a 4th next year. 2/3 and a 4th for Severson and Taylor. Trade accepted. All right, so we don't acquire Ryan Johansson, which honestly, we clear up 6.25 million of cap space just like that. We now have 14.7 available. Kent Johnson's now high elite. Oh my goodness, Kent Johnson is now high elite. He's a 91. He looks insane. At only 24, 6 years, 5 years left after this one at 5.5. Oh my God, Boqvist, medium top 4. He's now up to an 8. Wow, okay, so we did get to see some serious growth. Elias Pettersson looking like a franchise player here at 94 overall, two-way forward. Oh my word. Jirasek is now, I'm sorry, Rensfeldt is up to an 83. I was like, Jirasek's up to a 23 or an 87. Fantilli's now up to an 87, which we love to see. He's acquired an X Factor. Stick him up. Beautiful. Rensfeldt at 83, could still even jump a little bit more. Luuttinen's up to a 77. Lidman didn't jump, but Luuttinen did. Interesting. Jovanovski, I'm very, very happy to have him there too. You know, we're starting to look at some more of these guys that can come up and make an impact. So let's just go ahead and get to our next pick here at 64. Incoming trade. They want to give us... Really? You want to give me a 5th this year and a 4th next year for this? See, these kind of draft day trades are the stupidest thing in the world. I know this is basically a 3rd, but still. Haviland is 3 years away, 4 years away, 3 years away here for Angelo Sawyer. I kind of like the other defenseman, right? looked pretty good. Although this is a right winger, 1 bar low elite, 3 years away, 17 years old. Terrible skater. I don't like that. Medium starter, Edwin Chiodo. I could get another goalie. Oh my goodness. There's this also Chuck Ritchie here, potential defenseman prospect. Henrik Havelid, though, I feel like is the most solid of these guys, so we're gonna take Henrik Havelid. And we're gonna get, drum roll please, we're gonna get a 62 medium top 6. Oh man, the 2 bar or the 3 bar medium top 4 excited me. Unfortunately, it's not gonna come to fruition. I want to see some of those other guys. Those names I was looking at. Where's Chuck? Or Clark Ritchie. Was it Chuck Ritchie? Chuck Ritchie. Yeah, I was right. Low top 4. There's the medium starter goaltender. I guess I passed on the draft value. Riley Booma is a medium elite, so that's a bit disappointing to see that I passed up on him. Burkhole's another medium elite goaltender. Again, though, goaltending is not really something that I'm too worried about. And looking at all these other prospects, nothing too crazy here. Turner here, 4 years away. They're 4 years away. Low top 6, though. 1 bar, Brendan McNeil. Let's take another goalie. Why not? We'll take another goalie, see if we can continue the trend of the 3rd round goalies being elite. Can we do it? No, but he's a medium starter. 59 overall medium starter at 18. Absolutely just replaced our previous goalie that we just traded away, who I've already forgotten his name. Oh my God, I can't believe I already forgotten his name. Pick 128, though. Here we go. End of the 4th round. A fringe starter. Drew Turco here, the enforcer defenseman. Oh, man, that's nice. Oven's a defenseman here. This low elite. I doubt he's going to be actually low elite. There's low top 9. Derek Lundeen. Poxpoo. Poxpoo, 4 years away. Clint Poxpoo. As far as best players available, I can't really say there's any... Sasha Fleischman, low elite. Welcome to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Didn't realize that there would be a 4 bar low elite just sitting there. Low elite sniper, too, at 48 overall. Maybe can grow, maybe cannot, but, you know, we'll give him every opportunity. Sasha Fleischman, that's a great name, too. Starting to acquire some really, really good names. A 6th for Gambrel and a 7th. Who is Gambrel? He's expiring. And is a 78 overall 2. Wow, that actually looks like a pretty solid 2. You know what? I'll take this deal. I will take this deal because it's a depth player who's gonna be cheap. He's 30. He can play in the AHL, and he's pretty well-rounded. Played for Wilkes-Barre Scranton last year, put up 60 points and a +10, so absolutely a good depth guy. Played 21 minutes. Really, really, really solid player here, and I pick up a 7th next year. So this 6th round pick is not worth it for me, and there goes the draft. So now we're done. We got our 4 players: Jovanovski, Havelid, McNeil, and Fleischman. We also pick up Stanley, Toby Stanley from Detroit as another prospect option there for us. We shed the 6.25 of Damon Severson, which now means we have to go find another defenseman in free agency to probably bridge the gap, probably just a 3-year deal for somebody. Let's take a look at the roster and how it looks. Wojtek Bullis is expired, as well as a couple of our scouts. We'll take a look there in just a second. So Jet Greaves and Cole Sillinger are expiring, so some guys that we do need to pay attention to. But here we go. Jet Greaves as an RFA. Kilger. I'll probably let Lalonde walk. Let Kilger and and Kirsch be the 2 goaltenders in the AHL for us. There we go. I'll tender Jet Greaves. I'll qualify that. I don't think I'm going to offer him a contract, though. I will, I think, look to trade him. He's been fine in the AHL. He's actually been quite good, but I think it's time to give guys like Kirsch the full-time gig and just really see if he's cut out for it and let him grow, let him develop. Defenseman-wise, we've got Boqvist with Werenski, Jirasek and Rensfeldt, Matichuk, and then hopefully Blankenberg will come back. If not, Tim Bernie here, I guess will be our 7th defenseman. Blankenberg, what do you want? He wants 2 years at 1 point. Is he an offensive defenseman? He is. Matichuk is an offensive defenseman, and Rensfeldt is an offensive defenseman. You know what? Blankenberg does not want to come back. I'm not going to force him to come back. Maybe we can find ourselves a shutdown defenseman in that 83-ish range, right? Because they can flip either between the 2nd pairing or the 3rd pairing. Obviously, Boqvist, Werenski, Jirasek are on the 1st and 2nd pairing. Rensfeldt will be on the 2nd pairing, probably with Werenski, to be honest. Let Jirasek play with Boqvist, and then Rensfeldt with Werenski, which could be kind of sick. And then we'd have Matichuk, the offensive defenseman here, who we know fits the scheme with pinch cycle. We need balance cycle, and maybe somebody with balance. They would fit well together, defensive defenseman. So I think that is fine. Taking a look at the AHL now, we'd have Bernie probably be the 7th defenseman. We've got Johannesson here. We'll just give him a contract. 3 years. I kind of like the look of him at 26. He could be somebody that's on the fringe of being a depth player for the NHL squad. So Bernie being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the free agent, and Bernie's 7. That's fine. Do I really want Bernie as 7? As a 2-way defender, I could do worse. I'd like to see a little bit better if we would need him. Johansson here, not that great, but you never know with development. Jake Christensen, yeah, he's okay. But we've got Johansson, Christensen, Nazco, and then Bjorgvik, Holm, Street, and then Jovanovski. Do we sign Dante Jovanovski and let him play? I don't think he's quite ready yet. So we're going to offer a contract here. 1 more year for Bjorgvik, Holm. And then who's expiring? Low top 4, Blomstrand. We'll give him a chance. Ovechkin, probably gonna let Ovechkin walk, to be honest. And that should be that. We'll probably sign 1 more AHL defenseman. I don't know how much I want per Blomstrand. Playing, he's a defensive defenseman though. You know, he's 20. You got to give him a shot at some point. So maybe I'll give him a shot now. Taking a look at the forward core, we still have that 10 million in cap space. I don't know where the other cap space went. But Elias Pettersson, Kent Johnson, Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau, Fantilli, Beauvillier, that is our top 6. Marchenko, Chinikov, Pius Suter would be our third line, and then Tessier, Pitlick, and Akil Thomas. Cole Sillinger, I'd like to bring him back for sure. Qualify at the 1.1, and then offer a contract here. Give him, he wants a 2-way deal? I'll give him a 2-way deal, walk him right to free agency. Actually, just give him the 1-year deal. And then, yeah, Tessier. Okay. We got our top 6 is all the way down through Beauvillier, Marchenko, Chinikov, somebody, and then Suter. I'd like to bring back Suter. I really would. What does he want? 2.4 for 2 years? I feel like he was worth that. As a depth player, I think he was absolutely worth that. Tessier, what do you want? Tessier wants 2. I don't think you're worth... No, I think I'm going to release him. We got Rem Pitlick, Akil Thomas, Cole Sillinger as well. So Marchenko, Chinikov, Suter, Pitlick, Thomas, Sillinger. Foudy is here. Lidman I want to give a spot to, right? So that probably will be that. Don't know if I'm going to spend this money in free agency. Danforth is 34, so we will let him walk. Gambrel, who we acquired from the Penguins, give him a 2-year deal till he's 32. Perfect AHLer. Madden, here we go. Give you a 2-year deal as well. Talk to all you guys again soon. Meyer, Bentley, we got to play Bentley. Primo, I think we'll play Primo because he's got more upside than Meyer, who's 29 and is really not going to amount to much. Kapanen here, we'll give him a contract. We'll let Paitia walk because we have plenty of players down here. Lapisto. And then you can see there's Fleischman and Stewart, the guy, Stewart we drafted last season in the 5th round, which was nice at low top 6. And then Fleischman as a medium elite. So I'm going to go take care of the coaches. I'll let you know if somebody doesn't sign, but other than that, the next thing you guys should see is free agency. So this isn't one that I really wanted. I qualified him so I could trade him. He accepted the qualifying offer. Jet Greaves did, so I guess we'll just have to deal with it. Yeah, okay. He's here on 1.015 for another year. I could probably move him pretty easily, though. As far as goaltenders, they did mention that Lalonde, I'm just going to release him. It's not worth it. I don't know if the other 2 are ready, though, to take over like a full-time AHL job, so maybe Jet Greaves being back is a blessing in disguise. But anyway, we're now here, ready to go at free agency. I need a couple scouts. I need a couple coaches as well. But let's take a look who's out there in free agency. Why not? Kucherov, wow, wants a 1-year deal at 34, is a 96 overall. That is crazy. Mo Seider, are you kidding me? Is an RFA, wants 8.125. 8.125. I only have 8.4, but to get Mo Seider at 26 is an 88, that would be crazy. That would be kind of crazy. But let's take a look before we go spending all of our money on big players in free agency. Who is expiring? So you guys can see it's Werenski, it's Beauvillier, who does not want to, wow, Beauvillier does not want a contract extension. What does What is he thinking he's going to want? Over 10 million. Yikes. Okay, so probably not going to do that. Johan Rensfeldt, does not want a contract extension. He doesn't want to, get suckered into the... I'll give him 6.5. I think I will. If Boqvist is making 4.5, and so is Jirasek. 6.5 is probably fine for 5 years for Rensfeldt. Can I get him on a 7-year deal at 7x7? I mean, that seems pretty fair for the fact... I mean, we have 22 million in cap space next year. Not too many major players, too, coming up. So we'll give him 7x7. Actually, a 6-year deal... He drops, it's 200,000. It doesn't really drop by too much. 200,000 is a lot, but I'll still give him a 7x7, I think. Will he be the highest paid defenseman on our team? Yes. But I think he can absolutely develop into the best defenseman on the team. Boqvist, like we saw, taking a look at defensemen, not just all expiring, but Boqvist, he's on 4.5. I mean, these guys are on 4.5 through 2029, 2030. So we're looking fine there. Werenski, I'm probably going to let him walk. Honestly, going to just let him walk. Rensfeldt, I'll give the contract to. There's our big three, right? They're going to be making, all three of them are going to make less than Werenski. Jirasek and Boqvist are going to make less than Werenski combined. And it's only a $2 million upgrade if you give Rensfeldt plus one of the other two, right? So not having Werenski's $9.5 million contract is going to be massive. And I think signing Rensfeldt, who's got the best possibility, of all the three of them to get some massive growth and become a Cale Makar, right? He's probably got the best option to do that. So I think as far as contracts are concerned, I don't have to worry about giving out term. We do need a defenseman. That's what we need, though. You know, the expiring contracts are Rensfeldt and Werenski. Werenski is expiring, so that's 9.5 coming off, but we have an additional 2.5 on the cap because we're going to give 7 to Rensfeldt, so 2.5 in cap space opening up next season that we aren't accounting for in our heads. Just on the main roster, you guys can see we don't need somebody spectacular. We just need somebody that can bounce between a second or third pairing. Forward core, Beauvillier, we're going to hope to grow our next Beauvillier. Chinakhov does want to come back. Chinakhov has been actually pretty good. Not really great defensively, though. For somebody that puts up 41 points, his defensive category is not great. Maybe somebody we can look to move, but not somebody I'm going to move before we talk to you guys. So, maybe somebody, if we have a log jam, we end up moving from Chinakhov because we have Marchenko. Marchenko signed, 2 more years after this one. Marchenko's probably the guy at 26. Anyway, let's take a look at the defensemen that are out there for about the 4-ish million range. Mo Seider would be amazing, but if we did end up giving him what he wants, it would cost us this year's first, second, and third. Not crazy. What would it take to get Mo Seider? Straight up. What would it take? If we just Detroit. Detroit, I know we already talked once this offseason, but you aren't signing him. You guys have the cap space to sign him, but you refuse to for whatever reason. What do you guys want from me for him? Jirasek or Rensfeldt and a first? That feels like a very fair ask. If I was like, Rensfeldt's bad and we haven't won the cup and blah, 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 maybe I do this deal. But yeah, no, I'm not going to do that one. So thank you, but I'm going to continue to look at free agents here. Probably somebody in the mid-20s, some average defenseman, not in the mid-20s there, but Roy could be decent for 3 years. McTavish, Seider, and Gunther. Wow, Gunther's crazy good, too. Dylan Gunther here, 88 overall sniper with Freight Train at 6'2", put up 56 points. Let's take a look at defenders, just so I can stop getting sidetracked. Let's find ourselves a defender that wants a good contract. There's Middleton here. There's an offensive defenseman in Kalen Addison. For a second, I got excited. I thought that was defensive defenseman. We got a couple defensive defensemen here. Dylan DeMello, who's the same overall as Nikita Zadorov. And I guess we just kick the can down the road for a year. Dylan DeMello here looks really, really solid. Fits defensive pairing 1. Offensive awareness isn't terrible. And I think he is better than Zadorov. Yes, he doesn't have the shot blocking or the stick checking. But he's got a little bit better of an offensive category, a little bit better shot, a little bit better skater. Not quite as physical, so his overall is not being propped up by the physical category. So I think that's probably where I want to end up going with the signing. Middleton is 31, wants 4 years. DeMello wants 1 year at 34. Oh, it's so tough. Let's sort by defensive category. Obviously, Sider's going to be at the top. Middleton, and then Zadorov, and then DeMello is what it's saying. So Jacob Middleton, yeah, he's got a much better like offense puck skills category. I shouldn't say much better. It's slightly better than DeMello. He's less disciplined, though, which is big. I don't want to get a guy who's taking a bunch of penalties, but his defensive category is much better. Middleton, 162 PIMs. No, I'm taking Dylan DeMello. I'll give 1 year to Dylan DeMello. We'll figure it out next year. 3.3 for 1 year, just so it's nice and round. That would still give us 5.1 million to go out after somebody. And let's take a look. Spencer, wow. Look at all the free agents available. RFA. Come on, guys. Sign your goalies. Anyway, taking a look at players out there that might have slipped through the draft. There's Brad Lambert here, who's a UFA. 81, wants 2 years at 1.2. Low elite, two-way forward. Is a great shot. It's the rest of the stuff doesn't look great. Offensive awareness is good. Wish the passing was better, but Isaac Rosen here as well. Hendrix Lapierre, Rosen as a playmaker is insane. Isaac Rosen played for Rochester for all those years. What? Buffalo didn't even give him a chance in the majors. 24 years old at 1.2 for a year. I'd love to give him a contract and just see what he would take. I mean, he's not going to take a two-way deal, let's be honest about it. But he would be an RFA after this one. Brad Lambert, I feel like I want to give them both a contract. Play them both and see what happens. Because this could be that young talent that gives a year or two to grow. Wow, a 1 year deal, $800,000. I think it's a two-way deal in year one. So I'll give him the $1 million on a two-way deal. Isaac Rosen, I think we'll give him the 1 year at 1.2. Perfect. And then let's take a look at two-way players. What? This is crazy. These are some crazy guys out here. Tyson Forster as well. Two-way forward, looks really good. I could definitely sign him to play in the minors. Wants 1.05. Can I get you? Oh, yes, there we go. 2 years. Get Tyson Forster on a 2-year, two-way deal. That's purdy right there. We do need to sign a defender for the AHL, I believe. A low top 6. Honestly, Gron's here, low top 6. Why not, right? Sign him for 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, 77. Perfect. All right. And then goaltenders we know we're fine with. So, wow. Okay. Let's see. I got to go do the coaches and the scouts before I get too excited, but I'll jump back in when we have some news. So we do have some news. Not only did I secure ourselves a coaching staff, but we've also secured the services of Dylan DeMello, Tyson Forster, Helga Granz, Isaac Rosen, okay, Brad Lambert, a little bit of an attitude. And Rensfeldt is going to extend at 7x7. Things we love to see. Maybe I could have got him on cheaper. Maybe he would have wanted a contract. Otherwise, I don't know. Brad Lambert, though, I'm going to continue to offer you a 2 years at $800,000. I will give you a 2-year deal at $800,000 as long as it's a one-way. He just wants to get paid his $800,000. Damn it. All right. I mean, 81 overall, $800,000. Totally fine with that. Hopefully he does accept his the offer here. We can take a look at some of these guys, these free agents too. We have 5.6 million in cap, and the RFAs do look like they have been signed. So that is important to see that. Peyton Krebs has not been signed, but I don't think Buffalo is too concerned about that. Yeah, he is Buffalo Sabres forward. Really, really good playmaker, though. Really impressed to see that. So, anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and I'll let you know what Brad Lambert signs when we get to the lines, but let's go take a look at those Stanley Cup champion defense lines. So here we are, ready to take a look at the lines, the growth, and everything in between. Brad Lambert decided to sign with the New York Rangers. I got offered a bunch of trades. And I'm very happy that the simulation got to this point because holy cow, we look insane. Kent Johnson's 91 on the second line. Do we now put Johnny Gaudreau on the second line? That's crazy. Beauvillier gets us a +2. Oh, I love to see that. Beauvillier with Fantilli and Gaudreau. That's going to be that's going to be a nasty line. I just think since Gaudreau is going to start to fall off soon, line A, I mean, obviously, we're going to keep Pettersson and Johnson on the top line, but line A's at 29. He's got 3 years left on his deal after this one, right? So 4 seasons including this one, which is crazy. As far as the young guys, Isaac Rosen, you guys can see fits higher up the lines. if we wanted to. Scratch, we've got Forster and Akil Thomas. Sillinger and Pitlick. Sutter with Chinikov and Marchenko. Defensively, we've got Jirasek at 88. We don't get the +5 on the top pairing. Should we play him there? I'm not playing Rensfeldt on the bottom pairing. Boqvist, oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to do... Oh, wow. So Jirasek and Boqvist are not a great tandem because Jirasek is not a great fit for that top pairing. I mean, I could always do something like this where it's Boqvist and Rensfeldt. Offensive defenseman. They both get +2 and they're both great. And then Werenski and Jirasek is the middle pairing. Or I could just go back to exactly like we had it last season. Rensfeldt and Jirasek, I mean, they were fine last year. 27 points here for Johan Rensfeldt. I probably want to start letting him captain the power play. Yeah, considering we only have 2 more years after this one. I mean, we definitely want him to captain the power play now, I think. DeMello and Matachuk, totally fine pairing for us there. DeMello, I mean, he is a decent scheme fit. Matachuk, I'm not moving Jirasek down. Absolutely not. Offense, wow, Jesus. And then I think we got another X Factor. I think he had added post to post, potentially for Yaroslav Askarov. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And we haven't even looked at the guys that potentially could have jumped and grown in the system. So let's take a look there. Lidman's still a 79, listed as a depth forward though, and I think he was ready to play in the NHL. And then there is Luukkonen, who I think does need 1 more year in the system. So Lidman, come on up. In the NHL, scratched skaters would be Forster and Sillinger. I'm fine with that. Confirm. All right, best AHL lines. They'll be fine down there. Let's take a look at the NHL, though. If I maybe Isaac Rosen with Pitlick, and then Sillinger wasn't all that impressive last year, let's be honest. 29 points +7 in the playoffs was a -4. We did just sign him to a 1-year deal. Lidman here, not a great fit. Would get us a +1 there, though. Markku Lidman is a great fit on the second line, not the best on the third line. Isaac Rosen, do we want to... Oh, Rosen's a bad fit. That's another guy who's a bad fit. So maybe Cole Sillinger there. Maybe we should scratch Rem Pitlick, right? Rem, how did you do? He was a -3 last year, played all 82 games, so I will scratch him. Tyson Forster would get us a +1 on this bottom pairing, so we could play Forster with with Cole Sillinger and Lidman. Forster can hop over there. Who can take faceoffs the best? Ironically, yeah, I was going to say it's not the center, but there is a center that takes faceoffs the best there. Pius Sutter, 75 faceoffs is not great. 77 there, and then centers, 80 and 85. Kent Johnson, wow, okay, so I guess we'll play Pettersson on the wing because Kent Johnson got that great faceoff rating. But I think I did okay with that fourth line. We still have plenty of options. Isaac Rosen, just a sick playmaker. If we did need some more offense at some point in the season, Akil Thomas, same thing with it. Wow, Rosen is just crazy. Akil Thomas is a bit more athletic, and then Rem Pitlick. Yeah, no, that's fine there. Goalies, we already checked those with Askarov and Tarasov. Nothing changed there. In the system, did any of our goalies grow? Jet Greaves, Kirsch grew. Kirsch grew for sure. And then Kilger grew. So he's a 73. We've got a 74 and a 73 now. He's listed as another goalie. He's a minor league starting goaltender. Maybe we do want to move on from Jet Greaves. Down here in the system, we'll go to head coach preferred lines. Bentley, come on up. We want him up there on the top line. Yes, I know he doesn't fit the best, but Luukkonen, Foudy. Do we want Gambrel? Gambrel looked pretty good, but maybe not. Whoever can win faceoffs the best or gets us the best chemistry up here. Anybody have good chemistry on the first line? Fix Wolanski does. Bumps it up there. Gambrel will get us a +1 over Luukkonen, but I don't want to do that. We'll move Gambrel. You know what? Luukkonen, Gambrel, and Toby Bentley. We've got a playmaker, two-way forward, and a playmaker, a sniper, and a two-way forward. Fix Wolanski. Can you actually take faceoffs? Can any of these guys take faceoffs? I'm focusing way too much on the AHL. Luukkonen, you play center. Fix Wolanski. Get up there. And there we go. We'll be fine. Do I need to sign any defenders? No, I don't. Things look fine. Bjorkvik home. Per Blomstrand. You know what? Maybe it's his time to start. How good is Street? Low 7th defenseman? Yeah, we're going to per Blomstrand. There you go. I really like it. Both rosters look really, really good. Now it's just time to spin the wheel. So, familiar sight, we're back at the wheel for the second time in this episode. Not only do we have to start the season with Tarasov in net, but we also have to spin the wheel and figure out what else we're doing. What else are we doing in episode? Well, episode number, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so a 60% chance of not wanting an extension. We got to take a look at who wants an extension, but this is a pretty decent-sized extension class. We'll go to the players, and we'll take a look here. View contracts. We have Pius Sutter. Might not want a contract extension. He is not expiring, though. So he's got 2 years at 2.4, which is fine. We'll spin it again, right? Not quite there. Isaac Roseanne may not want an... Oh, it's Kirill Marchenko, who is signed for another 2 years. So we got to spin the wheel again. All this confetti. Yeah, I know. I'm avoiding things. Let's just go here to Google, and then we'll Google, and then we'll just type in RNG, because we'll just what? I can't random number generator. There we go. All right. Daniil Tarasov may not want a contract extension. Okay, so it was a 60% chance of not wanting a contract extension. It is Tarasov. We'll go with the max 100. Random number between 1 and 100. Generate, it's 55, and for the first time in this series, well, Daniil Tarasov does not want a contract extension yet. We're starting him for the first 5 games of the year, so you tell me what to make of that. But guys, this has been great. This has been a lot of fun. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe when you see some more, and I will see you guys in the next one.
It's a free for all, free for all.